afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome back to Parsons, Tennessee for day 2 of the district tournament. And it's between the Hickman County Bulldogs and the East Hickman Eagles. The crosstown showdown goes on the road, and it will be a battle for survival. Both teams lost yesterday in day 1. The Bulldogs lost to Lewis County by a final score of 9-2, and East Hickman lost to Riverside by a final score of 15-0. So it wasn't all that close. Neither games weren't too competitive. So these teams are going to have to kick it into a completely different gear if they want to keep their hopes alive for making the region tournament. And I want to give you guys a reminder. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but the district tournament for baseball works a little bit different than basketball. For basketball, all 4 teams were guaranteed a spot in the region tournament, and the district was simply for seeding. But for baseball, only the top 2 teams are able to go to the region tournament, and right now, it's Lewis County and it's Riverside currently sitting in the driver's seat after going 1-0 respectively yesterday. But the Bulldogs and the Eagles haven't been without their fair share of struggles this season. Coming into this afternoon's game, they both sit under 500. East Hickman has an overall record of 10-21, and the Bulldogs have a record of 12-14. But there's no better time to flip the script than right here in the postseason. The Bulldogs, as always, are coached by Cody Duchesne, assisted by Craig Shelton and Pat Smith. The East Hickman Eagles are coached by Colton Hunt. And we are super excited for this audio-only broadcast today on WNKX, whether you're tuning in on YouTube or the Access Tennessee app, available on Roku devices, because we're going to get a whale of a pitcher's duel. I want to take you back several weeks ago to the first time these two teams met. It was John Michael Lewis on the bump for the Bulldogs and Braden Presley for the Eagles. These two guys combined for 26 strikeouts, 13 apiece, and we are underway from Riverside. The first pitch from Lewis misses downstairs for ball 1 to the Eagle leadoff hitter Alex Martin. The Bulldogs are the higher seed, so they will be the home team for today. Lewis's second pitch, fastball over at the knees, 1 ball, 1 strike. East Hickman, of course, the 4 seed. John Michael winds and delivers. Again goes with the heater. Bounces up to the plate for ball 1, and now let's take a look at the Hickman County defense. In the outfield from left to right, it's Major Qualls in left, Aiden Spiegelmeyer in center, and Wyatt Bates in right. John Michael ready to go with the 2-1 pitch. Another fastball. This one misses just low and away. Martin way ahead, 3 balls and 1 strike. The infield for the Bulldogs. At third base, it's Kylan Seal. At shortstop, it's Andy Kraft. Braden Chesser at second base. The 3-1 pitch fouled into the net. Count goes full, 3-2. So Braden Chesser at second base. At first base, it's Carter Bates. Behind the plate, it's Braden McCaleb. And on the mound is John Michael Lewis, with Ruger Toddy serving as the designated hitter. The 3-2 delivery. Fastball popped up, heading our way. Foul. And it was a long night yesterday. We arrived at the ballpark around 3:30, didn't leave until 9:30. So count in the drive, and we have ourselves quite the trip. And Lewis misses a fastball upstairs to Martin, and it's a leadoff base runner for the East Hickman Eagles. And whenever John Michael faced the Eagles last, we talk about the incredible strikeout numbers, racking up 13. He also went the whole way, pitching all 7 innings. Not too many hits given up in the outing either. But in other starts, Lewis has had problems with walks and free passes, and the first pitch to the 2-hole hitter, Landon Erickson, is called strike 1. That first pitch is oh so important to start ahead and then to stay ahead. Martin, pretty good wheels over at first. Decent lead. Slide step, runner goes, pitch out. McCaleb's throw to second, sails in the center field. Martin thought about breaking for third, but Coach Hunt screams at him to stay put. So now the Eagles have a runner in scoring position, nobody out. A pretty good call by Coach Duchesne for the pitch out. But McCaleb His arm might be a bit too strong for his own good. Not much of a play at second. Lewis comes set. Goes to the leg kick. Erickson squares to bunt, pulls it back, called strike. And McCaleb tries the back pick over at second with Kraft covering the bag. Martin back in standing up. But Lewis ahead in the count on Erickson, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still looking for the first out of the ball game. Lewis a couple of checks, the pitch. Erickson chopper the other way, it's through the 5-6 hole. And Colton puts the stop sign up at third. So it's first and third for the Eagles. A nice piece of hitting by Erickson. Just going the other way, hitting it sharply through the hole. And if we've said it once, we've said it 1,000 times. Nothing makes you feel more like a true hitter than going with an outside pitch, hitting it hard the opposite field. Now East Hickman knocking on the door, looking to strike first in this elimination game. Braden McCaleb comes out of his stance, delivers the first and third calls. And now it's the East Hickman pitcher, batting in the 3-hole number 00, Braden Presley. Lewis pickoff move to first. Erickson back in safe. Presley, we saw him behind the plate last night, wearing number 15. Runner breaks first pitch, misses high. McCaleb throws it straight down to second. Tag. He's called safe. And Spiegelmeyer has his hands thrown up in center field. A bang-bang play, but it goes to the runner Erickson, and that's a stolen base. It's not too often on first and third. You see just a straight-up throw. Almost got him. The 1-0 pitch is fouled straight back by Presley. Presley, like so many of his teammates, a rough day at the plate yesterday. Lewis, ready to go. Again, goes with the heater, misses inside, and Presley has to dance out of the way. Presley yesterday, he did record one of the 2 hits for the Eagles last night. He also struck out once. The count 2 balls and 1 strike to Presley. Lewis goes right at him with a fastball over the outstretched arm of Braden Chesser. Bates rears up, throw to the plate. It's late, and it's a 2 RBI single for Braden Presley. So 3 straight men reach against the Bulldog ace, and East Hickman jumps out in front. And this is pretty uncharted territory for John Michael Lewis, again referencing back to the last time these two teams met when Lewis was on the mound. 13 strikeouts, and when there was contact, the few times there was contact, very weak. But through 3 batters, we have seen 2 pretty hard-hit balls. The single the other way by Erickson, and Presley also going the opposite field over Chesser. And that's what East Hickman has to do if they want to beat the velocity of John Michael. Now it's the cleanup hitter, Dalton Blackburn. First pitch chopper to first. Bates knocks it down, applies the tag on Blackburn, but it does move the runner up to second. And again, a ball hit to the opposite field, and Bates, having the benefit of playing first base, if you're at third or shortstop, you have to make a long throw. You can't really afford to just block it up and then see what happens after. With first base, you got all the time in the world, especially with Blackburn, who doesn't run all too well. And that East Hickman dugout is loud. They're trying to get to John Michael early. Now it's the 5-hole hitter, Jaden Malugin, playing second base. Long look by Lewis and finally delivers a fastball and misses in the dirt, corralled by Michaela. Lewis fastball, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to Malugin. Levi Sullivan was the courtesy runner that replaced Presley, and he stands at second base with 1 out. The 1-1, and Lewis spins and takes a look back at second without a throw. Andy Kraft, the shortstop, keeping him honest. And usually you would see the second baseman holding on the runner with a right-handed batter because of the pull. But since East Hickman has driven everything the other way, definitely the smart move to have the shortstop hold on and keep Chesser stationed at the traditional second base position. After the foul ball, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lewis looking for out number 2, fastball, just missed outside. The count goes even 2-2, a tough take by Malugin, but he's glad he did. Lewis just threw his 20th pitch in the first inning. Time called at the plate by Malugin. Lewis has to step off and reset. Now we're set to go again. The 2-2. Upstairs, buzzing the tower. Count goes full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The 3-2 delivery, called strike 3, dotted at the knees. And that's 2 outs in the inning for number 16, Dylan Redden. And we saw Redden a lot last night on the mound. He came in to replace the starter, Jonathan Jesse. And Redden was bringing a lively fastball last night. Has a pretty good swing at the plate to boot. An all-around good ball player for this East Hickman squad. Still a runner stands on second in scoring position. East Hickman left a lot of runners on base last night, as did the Bulldogs. East Hickman, early in the game yesterday, when it looked like they were going to start with some momentum, had a couple of runners on with no outs, brought neither of them home. They're flipping the script tonight, though, already driving in 2 runs in the first inning, capitalizing on base hits. Lewis comes set. The 0-2 pitch. Popped foul out of play down the right field line. Redden staying alive, just trying to run up the pitch count a little bit more. The 0-2 just misses at the top of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that is a tough take by Redden. We've already seen a few disciplined takes by this Eagle lineup. One, 2. Fastball by the bat of Redden, and the damage is minimized. But after the leadoff walk and the 2-hole base hit, Braden Presley brings him home to give himself some run support as East Hickman takes the diamond and the Bulldogs step up to the plate. And it got to be pretty chilly in the latter hours of the tournament yesterday. Our first game, which took place at 4:30, saw temperatures hovering around 70, but by the time we got out of here at the conclusion of the East Hickman Riverside game, we were looking at temperatures as low as the 40s. And tonight, we're looking at 64 degrees in our first inning. And I don't envy Lewis County or Riverside, who plays after this at 7, because it only gets chillier with temperatures in the 50s. Again, getting close to 40, but we do have the benefit of the sun shining, which provides some natural warmth. We certainly have seen some of the temperatures take a dive ever since the storms earlier in the week. But I gotta be honest, I'm ready for that more traditional summertime weather. Give me mid to upper 70s. That's baseball weather to me, but not sure if we'll get any of that for the remainder of this district tournament. And we talked about the starter for the Hickman County Bulldogs, John Michael Lewis. It's his counterpart on the mound, Braden Presley, who matched him with 13 strikeouts, and he really pitched well enough to win the last time he was on the mound against Hickman County, but didn't have much in the way of run support. But East Hickman already off to a great start this afternoon. And as warm-ups come to an end, and while we prepare for the first at-bat of the Dogs, let's take a look at the East Hickman defense. The outfield from left to right. In left field, it's Landon Erickson. In center field, it's Dwayne Lampley. And in right field, Chandler Crowell. And leading off for the Bulldogs, it's number 14, Major Qualls, the left fielder. A lefty-lefty matchup to get us going. Or a righty-lefty matchup, rather. First pitch fastball over for a called strike one. And it's not too often we see a first pitch take by Major Qualls. It seems like he does damage very early in the count. No balls and one strike. Again, Presley goes with the heater, misses up and away, and the Eagle infield. At third base, it's Joseph Covington. At shortstop, it's Alex Martin. At second base, it's Jaden Malugin. And at first base, it's Dylan Redden. The 1-1 pitch from Presley. Fastball fouled back by Qualls, out on his front foot. Behind the plate for the Eagles, Dalton Blackburn, of course, Braden Presley on the mound. And Gavin Woodard getting the nod as the designated hitter for East Hickman. Qualls behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Presley trying to get a chase, fastball elevated. Qualls lays off, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Presley gets the sign and goes. Off speed. Plunging towards the back foot of Qualls, he goes down and gets it and fouls it back over the net. Qualls a tough out, doesn't strike out all too much. The 2-2 once again. Fastball fouled down the left field line and off the roof of the batting cages. Got a good battle brewing here for the first Bulldog hitter. Presley tries again to find the put-away, 2-2. Tried to drop in something off speed, misses just above the letters. So both the Dogs and the Eagles must be seeing it really well at the plate. There's been a lot of pitches on the black or just off it that they're not chasing. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Major Qualls. Presley fires. The other way, through the hole, a great piece of hitting by Qualls, mirroring the single by Landon Erickson in the last half inning. So after giving up 2 runs in the top of the first inning, that's a pretty good start for the Hickman County offense. Leadoff man on for the 2-hole hitter Andy Kraft. And with Blackburn behind the plate, I wonder how active Coach Deshane's going to keep his runners on the base paths. A reminder, it was Presley behind the plate last night, and he was doing such a great job at keeping runners honest. A very strong arm does Presley have, and that's why he's one of their best pitchers, if not their best pitcher. Pick off to first, and Qualls is in there safely, tries again, and again, he's safe. And I had a chance to talk to the coach of the Eagles yesterday, Colton Hunt, and he was so excited about the matchup today. 2 rivals playing in a high-stakes matchup, and he was stoked about the prospect of both of the best pitchers going one-on-one, mano-y-mano. Runner breaks first pitch. Fastball high, and Blackburn airmails this one into center field. And the shortstop, Martin, there to back him up. So it seems like these two teams matching each other. We saw the leadoff base runner, then we saw McCaleb throw a ball into center field on a stolen base attempt, and now Blackburn throws a ball into center field on the stolen base attempt. It's like looking into a mirror. 1-0 count to Kraft, runner on second. He swings away 1-0 and fouls it back into the parking lot. Count goes even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Pretty modest lead at second by Qualls. He loves going back and forth, adding and retreating. Martin creeping in behind him. The 1-1 delivery off speed. Kraft pops it up first base side. It's in foul territory. First baseman under it. And Redden makes the catch. A great pitch by Presley. A rather unproductive out by Kraft, and that keeps Qualls at second. That brings in the 3-hole hitter, Aiden Spiegelmeyer. We saw all the wonderful photographs posted on Facebook that his mom, Ashley Spiegelmeyer, took, and she does such a wonderful job, and want to give her some credit. First pitch breaking ball chopped hard to third base past the glove of Covington. Qualls held up at third, and the Dogs now have runners on the corners. So Spiegelmeyer showing what good can happen if you hit the ball hard and on the ground. That was a tough play for Joseph Covington. They call it the hot corner for a reason, not because it looks cool on a t-shirt. So the Dogs have their first run of the game 90 feet away for the cleanup hitter Carter Bates. And it's worth noting the Bulldogs actually out-hit Lewis County yesterday. Just didn't have the situational baseball to win the game. Carter Bates went 0 for in the game yesterday, 0 for 4. He struck out once. But a chance to right the ship with an RBI opportunity, a couple of good runners on base. Pickoff, and Spiegelmeyer dives back into first, and Qualls staring him down at third, not exactly hastily retreating back to the bag. A long look by Presley over to first. Spiegelmeyer healthy lead. Big secondary doesn't go. And the 1-0 pitch misses upstairs for ball 2. Carter Bates ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. One out in the inning, runners on the corners. Qualls at third, Spiegelmeyer at first. The 2-0 misses low, and Presley now running into some control issues. Count goes to 3-0. We know these Bulldogs like to be aggressive in counts, but with 3-0 and down in the ball game 2-0, I can't imagine we see a swing from Carter unless he knows for an absolute fact that he can do damage. Spiegelmeyer takes off 3-0. Bates taken all the way, and it misses high for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk to the Hickman County first baseman. And that brings in the 5-hole hitter, Braden Chesser. Chesser went 1 for 3 yesterday, worked a walk, a strikeout. He also came around to score. So in the loss, still a pretty productive day for the Dog freshman. And now with the bases juiced, he has a chance to get his guys right back in it. Presley back in the windup. Still just 1 out. First pitch, off speed, drops in, strike 1. And Chester takes an approach a bit different than his teammates. We see a lot of the guys swing early in counts. Chester gets more comfortable as it gets deeper. Chester line drive right at the shortstop. Martin Qualls hung out to dry, and he's doubled off. So Braden Chesser punished for hitting the ball on the screws. Great play by Martin, the wherewithal to throw it to his third baseman Covington, And the Dogs leave them loaded. Presley tightrope walks his way out of danger. We're heading to the second. Eagles lead 2-0. So as we gear up for the top half of inning number 2, it was a pretty lengthy first inning for both sides. It just so happened that East Hickman made the most of their long inning. John Michael Lewis was forced to work. In the top of the first, he threw 27 pitches, allowing 2 hits and 2 runs while also walking somebody. Now he did pick up a couple of strikeouts, which seems to be his specialty. He generates a lot of swing and misses. But East Hickman, I don't know. They seem to be timed up to him. Presley and Erickson both found ways to hit the ball hard into the opposite field. And if you can live there as an offense, you're going to find yourself winning ball games. I don't care who you're playing against. I don't care what your record is entering into the ball game. That's just good baseball. So the warm-ups have just about concluded. And the Bulldogs looking to keep this game right where it is. Leading off for the Eagles will be their center fielder, number 18, Dwayne Lampley. It'll be 7, 8, 9 due up for East Hickman. And in this sport, the bottom third of your order can really be difference makers because, of course, you expect the top half to do damage, to get on base, to drive guys home. But if your bottom third is producing, getting on base, working deep into counts, you're a tough team to beat. And John Michael's first pitch of the second crosses over, fastball called strike 1. Lewis winds, again goes with the heater. Misses low and away, backhanded snag by McCaleb behind the plate. Lampley plays center field for a reason, runs exceptionally well. Fastball again over the plate. Strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lampley. Lampley's the kind of guy where if you see a slow roller in the infield, you have to come get it, or else you're giving up an infield single. The 1-2 pitch from Lewis. Fastball called strike 3 on the outside corner. And it's 1 up and 1 down for John Michael on the bump, and the throw down by McCaleb sails into right field. It's always one of the worst feelings. You do something good defensively, and then the throw around, not so much. But thankfully, you're not penalized for a faulty throw around the horn. Still 1 out, still bases cleared for the 8-hole hitter, Gavin Woodard. Didn't see him in the lineup yesterday. The first pitch bounces up, fastball, nice pick by McCaleb for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Woodard standing into the left-handed batter's box. Lewis again challenges him inside, low and in, bounces. Another nice pick by McCaleb, and Woodard ahead in the count 2-0 after some pretty non-competitive pitches. And that's every hitter's dream when you don't have to think about it. 2-0. Again a fastball, again down and in, again called a ball. 3 balls and no strikes. So Woodard way ahead. Lewis winds, fastball, and Woodard never once has to take the bat off his shoulder, and he works a 4-pitch walk. And walks are always going to be problematic as a pitcher on the mound, even more so when you creep down into the bottom third. you give away free base runners with the top of the order looming. So Woodard leads off first as the 9-hole hitter Joseph Covington. Played second base yesterday. This afternoon, takes on the role of third baseman. Lewis again goes with the heater. This time it's called for a strike. So after 4 straight balls, he gets one over. Lewis, long pause. Pickoff, keeping Woodard honest. I feel like we've seen a disproportionate amount of pickoff attempts between today and yesterday, more so than we've seen probably all year. Lewis works a little slide step heater, misses outside for ball 1, evens the count 1-1. And a lot of good pitchers do what Lewis has done, and that is change up his delivery so the runners can't time him up, so the hitters can't time him up. The 1-1 pitch, another fastball, called strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes on the East Hickman 9-hole hitter. The 1-2 from Lewis, fastball right down Main Street, called strike 3, and that's the second out of the inning.
Number 4, Alex Martin.
Make it 4 strikeouts through an inning and 2/3 for Lewis, and now the lineup rolls back over to the leadoff hitter, Alex Martin. He worked a walk to start the game. He also came around to score on the RBI base hit by Braden Presley, and now Braden McCaleb goes to the mound to have a chit-chat with Lewis. And this is a bit of a random point, but I feel like there are so many Bradens. Braden Presley, Braden McCaleb, Braden Chesser. Also a lot of Bateses on the Hickman County roster. I don't know. Just thinking out loud. So anyway, 2 outs. Woodard on first. Martin at the plate. First pitch. Gets away from McCaleb and goes to the backstop. And Woodard takes second easily. Now the Eagles have yet another runner in scoring position with 2 men out. Martin started the game off yesterday against Riverside with a screaming single in the left field, and we thought that was going to set the tone for a good game for the Eagles. Sadly, it did not take a turn for the better. And Lewis, 1-0, curveball, strike 1. One ball, 1 strike, and last inning we saw the shortstop holding on the runner even with righties up. Now the Bulldogs going back to a more traditional setup with Chesser holding on Woodard at second. The 1-1 pitch misses in the dirt. Martin ahead in the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. Lewis, that long pause. Leg kick. Fastball by the bat of Martin. Count goes even 2-2, and Lewis just 1 strike away from stranding the runner at second. Couple of checks. The 2-2 delivery. Off speed. Got him swinging. He chases at a curveball in the dirt. So East Hickman works the 1-out walk, but that's all they'll get. Still 2-0 Eagles. We're on to the home second. And it's an exciting day, not only because we've got district tournament action for high school, but we also have district tournament action going on at the middle school level as well. The Hickman County Middle School Baseball Bulldogs, they're in game 2 of their tournament. They beat McEwen 10-3 on Monday. They started off a little bit slow, and there was some concern from Hickman County fans, but good gracious, did they rally and turn that into something positive. They're currently facing off with the Stewart County Rebels. We know Stewart County usually has a pretty good baseball program, both at the high school and middle school level. So the middle school Bulldogs will have their work cut out for them, but we are cheering them on. The middle school Dogs have a 13-10 record on the year so far, so they've found a good bit of success under head coach Clay Chesser, who used to coach the high school Bulldogs back whenever I played several moons ago. And the warm-ups have concluded for Presley on the mound, and we're just about ready to get things going with the bottom of the second, and it'll be John Michael Lewis leading off for the Bulldogs.
Lead now for the Bulldogs in the bottom second inning, the number 4, J.M. Lewis.
We thought Lewis was starting to find his swing going back to Friday at Hume Fogg in downtown Nashville when he launched a solo home run. Yesterday he went 1 for 3 with a base hit and a couple of strikeouts. So while he's starting to find a bit more contact, he's still living with a bit too high of a strikeout rate, probably for his own liking. Takes a first pitch strike from Presley. Off speed, Lewis turns a shoulder, and that got him. It must have clipped the jersey, and the Bulldogs have a leadoff base runner for the second straight inning. Taking you back to the bottom of the first, if you're just now joining us, when the Bulldogs were on offense, they were able to load the bases with only one out. Braden Chesser hit a hard line drive right at the shortstop. He made the catch in the air, and Major Qualls was hung out to dry at third base, and the Dogs left the bases loaded, continuing the trend of leaving guys on base. First pitch swinging by Braden McCaleb. He launches it foul, and McCaleb, another one of those guys that likes to swing early in counts. And ever since coming back from his injury, we've seen him hit a lot of pop-ups, dropping that back shoulder, collapsing on the front foot, maybe trying to do a bit too much. But he's at his absolute best when he's hitting hard line drives up the middle or in the left field. Pickoff look. Presley throws over to first, and Lewis back in safe. And we hear Coach DeShane yelling at McCaleb at the plate, hard line drives. And Lewis hasn't been courtesy ran for yet. Check swing, chopper down the first base line, and foul. The curveball by Presley had him a bit in between on his swing. Almost a check swing, if you will. And Presley and Lewis both on the mound. Go fastball heavy, but if their off-speed pitches are working, makes them almost untouchable. So McCaleb behind, no balls, 2 strikes. The pitch up in the zone. McCaleb tomahawks it foul, and to be transparent, I'm not sure how he got a bat to that. So he fights to stay alive. Lewis only a few steps off first. Presley deals, high fastball again, trying to double up. This time, McCaleb able to hold back. And I know that was tough for Tractor to hold back. But he's able to exercise some self-control, and now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lewis takes off the 1-2, and it's back-to-back hit batters. McCaleb wears it off the upper shoulder blade, and we saw him wince a little bit. One of the last places you want to get hit. And quickly, Coach DeShane implements the courtesy runner. It's Jackson Smith in the run for McCaleb. But Lewis still out on second. No courtesy runner yet for the Bulldog pitcher. It's first and second, nobody out for Wyatt Bates. Bates went 1 for 3 with an RBI in yesterday's contest against Lewis County. First pitch bunting, perfectly placed down the third base line, or maybe not. It kicks off maybe a ladybug or a loose pebble down the third base line and rolls foul. But a good idea from Wyatt Bates, but now the East Hickman defense probably ready for it. The first baseman, Redden, playing in on the grass. Well in on the grass, I might add. Third baseman, Covington, still playing behind the bag. And with the shortstop holding on the runner, Bates pulls back. Ball one, 1 ball, 1 strike, and Presley almost asking, where was that? Saw some visible frustration. 1-1 count to Bates, who did show bunt. Wouldn't be surprised if he does it again. Keeping his hands low, he does square. Up in the zone, pulls back, ball 2. And Presley, who's already given up 2 free passes, both by way of a hit by pitch. You hear a lot of pitching coaches say, just take your out, throw to the bat. The 2-1 to Bates, squares, pulls back, fastball over the heart of the plate, called strike 2. 2-2 count, and now let's see if Coach DeShane elects to keep the square on or if he lets Wyatt swing the bat. 2-2, runners on first and second, nobody out. Presley kicks and deals. Bates did not square to bunt, but takes an off-speed pitch off the plate to fill up the count 3-2. Presley trying to avoid the bases loaded. 3-2, goes right at him, and John Michael Lewis, a bit of a delayed steal, froze Blackburn behind the plate, and he swipes third. Runners on the corners with 1 out. That delayed steal, such a lost art in the game of baseball, and for that exact reason, is it so effective? The catcher just doesn't know what to do. They may fall asleep behind the plate. And Lewis, not exactly a burner on the base paths. And Jackson Smith, who runs pretty well over at first, wouldn't be surprised to see him take off pretty early in the count as the designated hitter, Ruger Toddy, steps up. Ruger Toddy has been swinging the bat exceptionally well these last few games. Takes a first pitch swing at a fastball. Middle cut. Comes up empty for strike 1. Toddy went 1 for 3 yesterday, also came around to score. Scored one of the 2 Bulldog runs. Presley, long pause, delivers. Smith takes off, hit and run, and it's fouled back off the mask of Blackburn, and Smith having to make the walk of shame back to first. Listen, guys, 90 feet is not a walk in the park, especially when you're in a dead sprint. So now Toddy behind in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Presley delivers. Fastball high at the chin of Toddy. He takes for ball 1. Ruger Toddy, a guy who will not get cheated at the plate. Even when he hasn't been hitting base hits, he's hitting the ball hard. The 1-2. Again, Presley attacking the upper half of the zone, and again, Toddy takes for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the DH. Smith takes off, 2-2, called strike 3, no throw. And throw to second, Smith caught in between. And Lewis takes off for home after the throw from Presley gets away from the second baseman. And, you know, I'm not even sure what I just saw. I think Jackson Smith thought it was a foul ball or something. He starts walking back to first. The pitcher was probably caught off guard by that. If I was, I know he certainly was. So he tried to throw him out to get the second out when Smith had to almost backpedal back to second. But I'm sure if you ask him, that was a designed play because it scored a run. So with 2 outs, after the strikeout of Toddy, we're back to the top of the order for Major Qualls, who led off the game with a single through the 5-6 hole, and another one of those might score a run, although Erickson is playing shallow in left field. Martin holding on Smith at second. The 1-0 pitch, again missing outside. Qualls ahead, 2 balls, no strikes. Hickman County just chipping away, cutting the lead in half with that last run. 2-0. Qualls being aggressive and fouls it back. And with a lot of other hitters, when they're ahead in the count 2-0, you might think they're taking all the way. But when Major's been swinging the bat like he has, you give him the green light 10 times out of 10 on a ball in the zone. The 2-1 pitch from Presley. Qualls takes a dotted fastball. Not much Major can do with that one. That's what makes Presley so good on the mound. The count goes even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Qualls chokes up on the bat, just trying to put something in play with a runner on second. Presley comes set. Kicks and deals. Off speed. Major Qualls way out in front, and he swings through it for strike 3. So the Bulldogs able to get one of those 2 runs back. They strand another at second. It's 2-1 Eagles as we're on to the third. And something we love to talk about here on WNKX, especially when it comes to these Hickman County versus East Hickman games, you almost have to take every prior matchup, every record, and throw it out the window. Whether it's in football, whether it's in basketball, whether it's in baseball, heck, whether it's in soccer, whether it's in volleyball, I could pretty much name every sport, and the same thing applies because these guys want to beat the other. It doesn't matter how good or bad either team has been, they're going to play their best ball. They're going to be on their very best. They're going to be on their toes when it comes to playing against either the red and black or the black and blue. And that's what we've seen so far here tonight. Now with the pitching matchup, we expected runs to be at a premium, but that's been especially true, especially considering how Hickman County scored their first run of the game. It almost felt like an accident. It came on the throwing error from Presley to second, trying to get Jackson Smith, who was walking back to first after he had previously stolen a base. But it's the 2-hole hitter leading things off for the Eagles, number 24, Landon Erickson. Erickson followed up the leadoff walk of his teammate Alex Martin in the first inning with an opposite field single. And if you're Erickson, you can't really change your approach. That's almost exactly how you want to face John Michael. The first pitch of the third, fastball up and in, blows it by him, the Express. No balls, 1 strike. Lewis delivers another fastball, called strike 2. That one caught the outer third. So Lewis has been working inside-outside so far to Erickson, albeit with a small sample size. The 0-2. Breaking ball tries to drop it in at the letters, but it crosses too high for ball 1. 1-2 the count. Lewis winds and delivers. And Erickson skies it to left field, pretty shallow. Qualls trotting underneath it, and he makes the catch. So Erickson was in fact trying to keep that same approach of going to the opposite field, but drops the shoulder and hits the fastball to routine left, and Major Qualls so sure-handed out there. Now it's Braden Presley. He is accounted for both East Hickman runs, drove in both of them his last time up with an RBI single, a 2 RBI single, I should say. Lewis goes right at him with a first pitch fastball over, called strike 1. The 0-1 pitch from Lewis. Off speed. And that was disgusting. Presley chases a ball in the dirt, and now Lewis way ahead 0-2. The 0-2, fastball high, tries to get Presley to chase. And we see John Michael Lewis taking a page out of Braden Presley's playbook, and that's a strategy Presley has implemented on the mound. Breaking ball in the dirt, fastball at the eyes. And maybe we could just simplify it and say that's what good pitchers do to full hitters. The 1-2, Lewis bringing that Louisiana fastball by you. And it's a swing and a miss. 2 outs in the inning, and that's John Michael's 6th strikeout. Now it's the cleanup hitter, Dalton Blackburn. He's 0 for 1 on the day. He hit that slow roller to the first baseman, Carter Bates, who ended up tagging out Blackburn. First pitch, heater. Just misses inside, perhaps a touch high as well. And these Bulldog pitchers, they work so fast on the mound, you'd think there was a pitch clock in effect. The 1-0 misses low, 2-0. So Blackburn trying to act as a leadoff hitter with 2 outs and nobody on in the top of the third. Lewis delivers, fastball, misses up and away. And I imagine Blackburn will be getting the take sign all the way. So Lewis can probably afford to take a little bit off his fastball just to get something over. And that's exactly what he does. Bit slower fastball right down the middle for strike 1, 3 balls and 1 strike. But Blackburn can still choose to be selective at the plate. Lewis goes again with the fastball. Tried to ramp up that velo, misses off the plate, inside, ball 4. And now it's Jaden Malugin.
Now batting number 26, Jaden Malugin.
Malugin's 0 for 1. He struck out his last time up. Malugin was also involved in that chaotic play in the last half inning, which resulted in a Bulldog run. The throw from Presley, which overshot his glove. So a runner on first. Lewis delivers his pitch. First pitch swinging by Malugin. And it's chopped foul right at home plate. Lewis fires off speed. Malugin sits back on it nicely, drives it foul. But it sounded pretty good off the stick. Lewis way ahead in the count, no balls, 2 strikes after a pair of foul balls by Malugin. The 0-2. Fastball, he takes down and away. A pretty good 2-strike pitch. It certainly made Malugin think about it, but he wisely holds off. 1-2 the count. The 1-2 delivery, fastball hit hard to first, and it kicks over the glove of Carter Bates. And the runners go station to station. Coach Hunt over at third was doing a bit of jawing with his runner going to second, saying, you got to be looking at me. Because with where that ball was hit, if the runner is breaking and running all the way through second, he probably takes third. But instead it's first and second, 2 outs for Dwayne Lampley. Or my mistake, this is Dylan Redden due up for the Eagles. I suppose East Hickman would like it if Lampley would get up in the inning because it means it's continued. Lewis back-to-back balls, low in the dirt, 2-0. Redden 0 for 1 on the day. The 2-0 pitch from Lewis. Fastball. Strike 1 at the knees. Lewis comes set. Kicks and fires. Fastball again right at Redden. Seems to have it timed up, and he fouls it back for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And we have got deuces wild in Decatur County. 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 count. Lewis delivers. Fastball. And it drills him in the shoulder. And that looked like one of the hardest fastballs Lewis has thrown today. So Redden not going to appreciate that one all too much as he works the arm a little bit, trying to get the blood flowing to ease the pain. And while it hurts temporarily, that's something coaches, fans, and teammates will appreciate, wearing a fastball like that to give your guys a chance at adding on runs. So now, as I was saying earlier, at the plate for the Eagles is Dwayne Lampley. And I suppose it's true. That does mean good news for East Hickman because the inning has continued and they have bases loaded with 2 outs. Lewis goes back to the windup, nowhere to put Lampley. He winds and deals. Fastball up and in off the glove of McCaleb. Doesn't roll too far, and the runner stops at third. And time is called, and McCaleb goes to have a chit-chat with Lewis. And again, we're seeing those control issues of John Michael rear its ugly head in the district tournament. Seems like he has a tendency to just overthrow. And if you're John Michael on the mound, you just have to trust your stuff. It's a 1-0 count to Lampley. Lewis now deals again, takes a bit off the fastball, and it's over. 1 ball, 1 strike. If you're Lampley, you can still afford to be patient. Case in point, Lewis misses down and away, 2 balls, 1 strike. A walk is just as good as a hit for East Hickman. The 2-1 delivery. Ball 3. So no take sign, it would seem, from Colton at third. But Lampley will be extremely selective, I'm sure. The 3-1 pitch. Fastball misses up and in. Ball 4. 3-1 Eagles. So Lampley, a good at-bat. Some discipline takes, not helping out the guy on the mound, and now East Hickman has padded that lead. Now up by 2, and the inning's not over yet. It's Woodard stepping in, and John Michael spikes a fastball at Woodard's feet, and he just gets out of the way. 1 ball, no strike. Gavin Woodard is 0 for 0 on the day. Not a registered at-bat because he worked the walk his first time. The 1-0, Lewis takes a bit off, and the strike zone has to feel like the size of a soup can on the mound. He's behind 2-0. The pitch, right down Broadway, strike 1, 2 balls, 1 strike. So Lewis trying to battle back one pitch at a time. The 2-1, Woodard swinging away. Hits it fairly well down the third base line, but foul over the batting cages. Counts even 2-2. Lewis 1 strike away from minimizing the damage. He delivers. High fastball, Woodard doesn't chase. McCaleb pump fakes a throw to third. And Colton calls time down at third, and he wants to talk to his hitter Woodard. Probably just reminding him how important a walk is in this spot. And you cannot chase. And if you're John Michael on the mound, you got to make him earn it. Even if that means taking a little bit off your fastball, pitching to contact. The 3-2 payoff. Runners break. Fastball called. Strike 3. And John Michael able to strand the bases loaded, but East Hickman able to push one more run across. It's 3-1 Eagles, and we're going to the home third. These first 3 innings have taken an absolute toll on John Michael Lewis's pitch count. Through 3 innings, he's given up 3 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And he's already at 77 pitches. And being at a high pitch count isn't super uncommon whenever you have a guy on the mound who strikes out a lot of guys, because at minimum, you're throwing 3 pitches for a strikeout, right? Just simple math. But tally in the 4 walks as well and how deep these Eagle hitters are getting in the counts. It can definitely wear on your arm. So I'm not sure how long the leash will be for John Michael Lewis in this game. But if you're Coach DeShane, simultaneously, you can't pull any punches. You can't quote-unquote save him for another game, because another game may never come if you can't get back into this. With your season on the line, I feel like you got to keep riding the people that brought you here. So leading off for the Bulldogs in the bottom of the third, it will be number 9, Andy Kraft. Kraft is 0 for 1. He popped out in foul territory to the first baseman, Redden, and he takes a first pitch, strike 1. Off speed, Kraft blisters it into right center field. That splits the gap, and it rolls all the way to the wall. They're still trying to track it. Kraft through second. He's going to third. Cut off, the throw, head first slide, safe. And it's a leadoff triple for Andy Kraft. So a pretty ideal start to the bottom of the third for the Bulldog lineup. Leadoff runner gets to third, nobody out for the 3-hole hitter, Aiden Spiegelmeyer. He's also 0 for 1. Presley can stay in the windup. First pitch heater, Spiegelmeyer takes a healthy cut, foul tip. Presley has been pretty efficient so far, only at 44 pitches. But we know how quickly that can change. The 0-1, Spiegelmeyer, another big cut. Comes up empty. He's down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. This could be a big strikeout for Presley on the mound. He winds. And Spiegelmeyer stays alive, fouling it back into the net. delivery, off the glove. Andy Kraft breaks. Presley to cover the tag, late. Hickman County again on the board. They now trail by 1. It's 3-2. East Hickman leads. And that 0-2 pitch missed well off the plate. 1-2 the count. So Spiegelmeyer now playing the role of leadoff. Presley, fastball. Spiegelmeyer fouls it straight back again. Well over the press box. The 1-2 pitch once more. Breaking ball. Got him swinging. And when Presley is able to spot that, good luck if you're a hitter. He works that breaking ball so well off his fastball. And what makes it even more dangerous is that it can come at any point in the at-bat. It can be early, it can be late. He can throw multiple back-to-back, or he can just kill you with fastballs. First pitch in to Carter Bates misses for ball 1. Fastball blows it by Carter. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and the bases are clear in the bottom of the 3rd. Presley to the plate. Again goes fastball. Carter Bates got jammed. Slow roller to the second baseman. And it's an easy play for the second out. Malugin did a nice job of charging the ball. While Carter Bates isn't the fastest guy on the team, not exactly slow either. It's very easy on those slow rollers to rush your mechanics to either overthrow or spike it in the dirt, or to lollygag and take too long, and then before you know it, the runner's safe. So 2 outs, bases cleared for Braden Chesser. First pitch to Chesser misses down for ball 1, and taking you back to Braden's last at-bat, he was up with the bases loaded with only 1 out, hit that hard line drive right at the shortstop Alex Martin, which got Major Qualls doubled off at 3rd. But even though it was a pretty bad result for the Dogs, you want to bottle that swing if you're Braden, because it caught pretty much all barrel, and he takes a breaking ball low. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Presley goes back to the heater, and he misses downstairs, so Chesser way ahead, 3-0. And while we may not see the take all the way sign for Chesser, he'll probably be picky. And it's a 4-pitch walk. The fastball misses above the head of Chesser, and the Dogs have a 2-out base runner. Now it's the Bulldog pitcher, John Michael Lewis, into the box. He wore a hit by pitch his last time up, and with a runner on base, if he can find that sweet swing that he had last week, it's a pretty big ballpark, and a ball in the gap, probably a run. Chesser very short lead off first. First pitch fastball. And it was a check swing by Lewis, and I think he said it was a foul ball off the knob of the bat. So what could have been a hit by pitch turns into a strike, so 0-1. It was also a dead ball, so Chesser could not move up. The 0-1 heater downstairs, 1-1 count. Presley looking to bear down against the Bulldog ace. Delivers. Lewis out in front. Foul tips a curveball into the mitt. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lewis. Chesser leads off first. Good take by Lewis to even the count 2-2. Presley tried to put him away with a fastball. The 2-2. Curveball, I believe it slipped out of the hand and it sails over the head of Lewis. Nice snag behind the plate by Blackburn to keep Chesser over at first. But now with a full count and 2 outs, Braden will get a head start. Presley comes set. He delivers. Chesser goes. Lewis, hard ground ball to short. Nice play by Martin. Throw to first. Pulls him off the bag. And Chesser caught him between second and third. The throw behind him. Called out at second. And Coach DeShane going to talk to the field umpire. Nice heads-up play by Redden over at first to throw behind Chesser. I think Braden thought the shortstop Martin pump-faked it and had the ball. But this would be another tough break for Hickman County to end an inning. Lewis hit the ball hard, but a nice play by the slick-fielding shortstop Martin. The throw just a little bit offline. And now we have a discussion. We heard some fans yelling about runners' interference, or fielder's interference rather, by Martin at short, who was in the baseline. And they confirmed the call of out, much to the chagrin of the Bulldog faithful. But now John Michael has to turn around and continue tossing the rock. So I'd be curious to hear the explanation after this game's over with. And we hear Coach DeShane getting very vocal on the field, exchanging some words with the home plate umpire now. And this is not the first time we've seen controversy at this field. If you remember earlier in the year when Hickman County was visiting Riverside, there was that play at first, also involving John Michael Lewis, oddly enough. I'm not sure how he keeps getting involved in these. But it was a ground ball to first that Lewis hit. A throwing error got away from the Riverside first baseman, and Lewis turned around to walk back to first. The first baseman tagged him out thinking he made a move to second, which he did not. He was called out, and it got even crazier from there because a runner scored on the play, and that run was also taken off the board. So it was crazy all around, but that's baseball. But Lewis has to have a quick turnaround, and in this game of baseball, you got to have a short memory. So Presley, through 3 innings, is up to 61 pitches, 2 hits given up, 2 runs, 1 of which was earned, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. And Lewis, entering into his 4th inning of work, 77 pitches on 3 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, and 7 strikeouts. So Lewis will definitely want to work on getting those walk totals down. And if you're Lewis, you know you've got the swing and miss stuff. You don't have to be too cute. First pitch, and again, another hit batter. Whew. Again, I just grimace at that. John Michael Lewis throwing the heater off the shoulder of Joseph Covington, the 9-hole hitter. And you could hear the contact from here. Well, let me change this graphic real quick because we are indeed in the top of the 4th. The Eagles still lead 3-2. Goes with a first pitch fastball to Martin as the lineup turns over, misses low for ball 1. Fastball low and away, but catches the zone for strike one. Martin, he's 0 for 1 on the day, and he's worked a walk. And John Michael snaps off a curveball in the zone, strike two, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pickoff gets away from Bates, and Carter did a nice job of selling the tag, keeping Covington held at first. So it's still a 1 ball, 2 strike count to Martin. Lewis, pause, and fires. Another breaking ball, check swing, and first base is occupied. So it's a strikeout. John Michael's 8th of the game. And I didn't see the umpire immediately signal a swing, so Martin might have given himself up. It's not too often you see a guy tattle on himself. But now it's back to Landon Erickson. He's 1 for 2. Had a base hit back in the first and would come around to score. Runner goes, first pitch fastball, called strike. McCaleb's throw is high, and it pulls Chesser off the bag, no chance for a tag, and Covington swipes second with ease. No balls, 1 strike to Erickson, runner on second. 1 out, breaking ball. He thought about it, but holds back, no go. Ball 1. And Lewis now steps off the mound and wants to recollect himself after time was called at the plate. Couple of checks back on Covington. Kraft holding him on. Fastball fouled way down the left field line and out of play. Erickson now facing a 2-strike count behind 1 and 2. The 1-2, little slide step, curveball. Perhaps fell off the table a little too much as it skips up to McCaleb. Easy take for Erickson. And if you're a hitter, that's sort of how you want to approach a 2-strike curveball. If it starts at the knees, you know it's going to finish well below. 2-2 fastball up and in. Misses. Count goes full 3 and 2. It was a long stick behind the plate by McCaleb. Perhaps he disagreed with the call. Either way, 3-2 count, runner on second, 1 out for East Hickman. The payoff to Erickson. Again goes with the heater, called strike 3 up and away. And now the home plate umpire walks over to have a chat with Coach DeShane. Not sure what this is about. He pointed up near the parked cars, so I'm not even going to begin to guess what they were talking about. But either way, John Michael records strikeout number 9 on what looked like a makeup call. So now with 2 outs, runner still on second, curveball bounces 3/4 of the way to home, and great block by McCaleb to smother it to keep him in front. And now Braden Presley in the box, East Hickman's pitcher. Presley, he's 1 for 2 with a couple of ribbies on the day. The 1-0 to Presley. Goes with a fastball at the knees, strike 1. And to give you a quick update on the Hickman County Middle School Baseball District Tournament game, the Bulldogs are up 4-2 on Stewart County in the top of the 4th. And Lewis again A long pause on the rubber, looking Covington back, and it draws a timeout called by Presley at home plate. The pitch off speed, misses below the knees. Lewis goes at Presley, and he blisters this one to right field. Bates going back, and he makes the catch. In a dead sprint, a fist pump from Lewis walking off the field. And Wyatt Bates showing off the range, taking away a run and an extra base hit to keep this ball game at 3-2. Hickman County trying to get back in it when we come back for the bottom of the fourth. So we're back for the bottom of the fourth. Braden McCaleb leading things off for the Bulldogs against Braden Presley, who's back out. McCaleb first pitch swinging line drive down the left field line, hit well, but also well foul. And this has been a low-scoring, low-hitting affair. But that can change on a dime. Off speed, again McCaleb swings. Again, he hits it pretty well, but it's foul. And the last time we saw McCaleb at the plate, we saw him way out in front of the ball. So if he can just get his timing down, he might find himself back in a groove. The 0-2 from Presley. Off speed, nice take by McCaleb. But that's almost a perfect location if you're the pitcher. And you think a perfect pitch, well, it's got to be a strike, right? Well, not always. It can be a setup pitch or at least make the hitter think about something else. And the 1-2 fastball misses way up and in, and McCaleb has to limbo out of danger. The 2-2. Off speed, chopper to third. Covington charges, throw on the run, a bit high, but no problem for the lanky first baseman Redden, and it's 1 up and 1 down.
Now batting in the seventh, Wyatt Bates.
And Presley, such a stingy starter. We saw him light up the strikeout column last time the Dogs met him. But tonight, he's just been all about efficiency. Throwing to contact, only has 4 strikeouts, which isn't bad. And still plenty of game left to get that number up. But if you're getting quick outs, more than likely that means the longer you can stay in the game. And he misses first pitch high to Wyatt Bates. Bates is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time through. He's ahead 2-0 now. And Presley goes right at Bates with a fastball, swung on and missed. The 2-1. Another fastball, Bates on this one, but he fouls it off over the dugout. Foul. Count goes even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Presley looking for strikeout number 5. He spikes a fastball in the dirt. Easy take for Wyatt. Count goes full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Hickman County looking for a base runner with 1 out. The pitch from Presley, fastball, fouled straight back. So Bates lives to see another pitch. Presley has only issued 2 free passes on the game. And make that walk number 3 issued by Presley, and Wyatt Bates trots on down to first. The Dogs have a 1-out base runner. Now, when I say free passes, I just meant walks, because I do understand hit by pitches also count as free passes, and he has hit Lewis, and I believe he hit McCaleb, if I'm not mistaken. So Ruger Toddy in the box now. He's 0 for 1. He's first pitch hacking and fouls it off to the right. Toddy went down on strikes. It was that same strikeout pitch where Braden Chesser would steal second base. Pickoff play. And now that I think about it, it might have been Jackson Smith that stole second on that Ruger Toddy strikeout. Yeah, that sounds right. 0-1 to Toddy. Bates off first, off speed. Toddy fooled. Swung on and missed. The throw back by Blackburn gets away, but the shortstop Martin there to back up Presley. Pickoff, Bates slides back in. He beats the tag. Presley checks over a couple times. He delivers. Wyatt Bates takes off. Toddy pops it up. Wyatt has to be in a dead sprint to retreat. The catch is made by the first baseman Redden in foul ground. And Bates able to sneak back in. So it's 2 outs, runner on first for the top of the lineup as it rolls back over to Major Qualls.
Major Qualls.
Qualls up for the 3rd time. He's 1 for 2. He's also struck out. The Dogs looking for a little 2-out magic. And if there's any part of this order that can do that, it's these guys coming up. And Qualls chases a first pitch in the dirt for strike 1. The 0-1 from Presley. Tries to work down and in again. This time Major lays off for ball 1. And maybe we see Bates take off from first to try to get a runner in scoring position for Qualls. Bates has a healthy lead over at first. Chopper to short. Martin playing in, charges it, fields the hop, low throw, past the first baseman, Redden. And Bates advances up to third on the error. And the Bulldogs have runners on the corners with 2 outs. So like we always say, put the ball in play and good things will happen. Make the defense make the mistakes. And Martin, who usually is so sound over at short, just pulled off on that throw just a little bit. And now the door is open for the Bulldogs to at least tie this game as Andy Kraft steps into the box. He's 1 for 2. He's also come around to score. And if Major Qualls is not taking off on the first pitch, then color me shocked. There he goes. First pitch, fastball low, no throw. And now it's 2nd and 3rd for the Dogs. So with Qualls' speed over at 2nd, a base hit by Kraft might give him the lead. Takes another fastball, this one over, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. The 1-1. Fastball kicks away. Great break by Bates. And he scores. And we're all tied up at 3. So Kraft moves ahead in the count 2-1 after the wild pitch. Major Qualls, the go-ahead run 90 feet away. The 2-1. And a challenge fastball by Braden Presley past the bat of Kraft. Count goes even, 2-2. The delivery, chopper to short, Martin fields the hop, bit tricky low throw. Redden can't dig it out. So another low throw by Alex Martin. And it looked like Redden just tried to block it up like he was fielding a ground ball over at first. It just squirts away, and now the Bulldogs lead 4-3. The inning's not over yet. Good wheels over on first in the form of Andy Kraft. Now Aiden Spiegelmeyer at the plate. He's looking for his first hit of the game. He's 0 for 2. He's also struck out. And I can't imagine either of those runs go on the ledger of Presley. Spiegelmeyer swings first pitch. popped toward us, and Chris Seal almost making a one-handed catch while holding the iPad. He's the one that controls the game changer, by the way, a man of many talents. It's an 0-1 count to Spigs. Andy Kraft leading off of first. Presley comes set. He delivers. Spiegelmeyer takes it in the dirt. Kraft breaks. Good read and no throw from Blackburn. Read that perfectly. And with Andy's speed, the moment he saw that ball diving towards the dirt, probably wasn't much question on if he was going or not. 1-1 to Spiegelmeyer. Fastball over, strike 2, low and away. And no Eagle was holding on Kraft at second. He could afford to get a pretty big lead and maybe even try to take third, unless Malugin starts to creep in like he's doing now. Presley, the 1-2, high heat, missed. 2-2. Now Presley's pitch count starting to creep up. He's at 88, closing in on 90 pitches. Off speed, misses high. Tried to drop it in at the letters. Now the count goes full 3-2. Malugin now creeps back to second to cover Kraft. 3-2. Andy takes off. Blistered up the middle. Base hit. Kraft around third. He scores. And Hickman County adds some cushion. The Dogs lead 5-3, courtesy of an RBI single by Aiden Spiegelmeyer.
Now back number 5, Carter Bates.
And this inning has been proof as to why sound defense is so very important. A few defensive miscues by the Eagles have led to these runs. They could still very well be in the lead without them. Spiegelmeyer takes off first pitch. Blackburn's throw down on target but late. And it's a stolen base for Spigs. And he's laying face down on the bag. And he looks to be shaken up. Bit of an awkward slide trying to avoid the tag. We saw something similar back at Spring Hill last week whenever Spiegelmeyer stole second. He had to clutch tight to the bag to avoid sliding past it. So maybe he rolled a knee or an ankle. Or it might be something upper body. I think he's clutching at his shoulder, that right arm, spinning it, trying to work some feeling back into it. Spiegelmeyer also a football player for the Bulldogs, one of their best. He also dealt with an injury and was sidelined for a lot of the season last year. So with any player, you hope an injury isn't too serious, but especially so when a guy has already been plagued by them. And he seems to be okay. He'll stay in the game. He's met with an applause from both fans, respectively. So after the stolen base, it's 1 ball, no strikes to Carter Bates at the plate. Bates, he's 0 for 1. He's worked a walk. But another insurance run 180 feet away. Low fastball misses 2-0. And a timeout is called by East Hickman, and Colton Hunt's going to take a visit and talk to his pitcher Presley. And I would imagine, given this is a do-or-die ball game, Presley will have an extended leash, being the best arm East Hickman has. We also see a congregation of Aiden Spiegelmeyer, Carter Bates, and Braden Chesser over with Coach DeShane on the third base line, just talking a bit of strategy. It's one of the most beautiful aspects of this game, the back and forth battle, the mental warfare that takes place between each team. So now we're ready to play ball again. Presley with a 2-0 count to Carter Bates. He delivers, again misses low, 3-0. Seems to be pulling off of that fastball just a little bit. Everything he's missed recently has been low. 3-0, Bates can afford to be selective, takes all the way, and he works a 4-pitch walk. That fastball misses up near his collarbone, and it's first and second for the Bulldogs for Braden Chesser with 2 outs.
Now bat number 28, Braden Chesser.
Chesser is 0 for 1 with a walk. And he's following a guy in Carter Bates who's worked 2 walks already this afternoon. Chesser has hit the ball hard in his first at-bat. Presley goes, first pitch, fastball, strike 1 at the knees. We see some healthy leads by these Bulldog base runners, by Spiggs at second and by Carter over at first. Malugin now holding him on at second. Presley goes to the plate, misses below the knees around the ankles for ball 1. And Presley steps off, and Spiegelmeyer had a bit too big of a lead. At least more so than what he was comfortable with seeing. Presley spin, pickoff, and Spiegelmeyer read the move nicely. He dives in head first. He goes to the plate, Chesser swings and fouls it over the first base dugout for strike 2. The Bulldogs have already plated 3 runs this inning. Presley looking to stop the bleeding. Goes to the plate, off speed. And a great piece of hitting. It's a single past the second baseman. And Spiegelmeyer, stop sign put up at third. And the Dogs go station to station on the 2-out single. And that's just a great at-bat. Great piece of hitting by Chesser to sit back on the off-speed, punch it the other direction with a right-handed batter, and Malugin having to hold on Spiegelmeyer, the second baseman, was cheating up the middle. And Chesser took advantage of that to the fullest. And now John Michael Lewis at the plate. Talk about an opportunity to help yourself with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Lewis is 0 for 1. He struck out and was also hit by a pitch. Or no, Lewis was the victim of that ground out fielder's choice to the shortstop where Chesser was tagged out at second going back to the bag. I should have remembered that because of how often John Michael gets caught up in these kooky situations. But he's behind in the count, 0-2. High fastball, he lays off for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Presley trying to leave him loaded. Lewis trying to blow it wide open. Pitcher versus pitcher. Presley winds. The 1-2. Fastball high, and John Michael thought about it. Flinching the shoulders and the forearms and the wrists, but he holds back. 2-2 the count. Presley again tries to put him away, off speed, and he plunks him. Lewis takes his second hit by pitch of the game. This one bigger than the last because it is an RBI for John Michael. And that is a tough break for Presley on the mound, just one strike away from escaping. And now Braden McCaleb, previously one of Hickman County's most prolific RBI guys. He's hitless today, but he was also hit by a pitch. McCaleb first pitch swinging, skies it to left, fading foul out of play, and it hits the light pole. We see the Bulldogs in the dugout celebrating, throwing the hands up. That's some pinpoint precision. McCaleb turns and gives a smile to his teammates. It's a 0-1 count. Off speed, chopper to third. Covington fields it clean. Throw to first. High, pulls him off the bag. And McCaleb's called safe. And Coach Hunt now. We saw Coach Deshane express his displeasure with a call earlier. And now Colton disagrees. So both coaches about to get their money's worth with the field umpire. So if the call stands, that's a run. And to me, as a neutral party, I thought he got the tag. And we hear Colton yelling from the field. He says he got the tag, it wasn't close. And they confirm the call of safe. So a tough break for the Eagles. Make it 7-3 Bulldogs.
Now bat number 7, Wyatt Bates.
And guys, I'm not saying Colton's word is gospel, but he is a former All-American collegiate baseball player. So I feel like he's someone who can be trusted when it comes to the game. But if you're Hickman County, you're saying, I don't know what he's talking about. I think he's safe. Bates' first pitch, base hit. And it kicks away from the left fielder. Chesser scores. Lewis storms around third. He scores. The throw comes into third. And it's a 2-run single for Wyatt Bates, and how things have spiraled for the Eagles. 9-3 Bulldogs.
Now bat number 18, Toddy.
Wyatt Bates with his first hit of the ball game. And it's a big one. And this game, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Errors have played a huge part. We've seen errors haunt the Bulldogs in games before. Errors have certainly haunted this game for the Eagles. They have 6 total on the game. Most of those have been in this frame alone. And Hickman County has pushed most of these 7 runs in the fourth across with 2 outs after the errors. So a deflating feeling for East Hickman, thinking about what might have been or what could have been. But now you just have to escape the jam because Hickman County's still hitting. It's Ruger Toddy with runners on first and second with 2 outs. Toddy's first pitch swinging, ground ball under the glove of Covington. Windmill on, Erickson's throw comes to the plate. And the courtesy runner Jackson Smith scores standing. Throw to third. Dropped by the third baseman, and he's safe. So the Dogs break double digits, and the runners move up behind the throw. They had him dead to rights, but Covington just couldn't hold on to the ball at third. Second and third, 2 outs for Major Qualls. And that was a tough play at third on the grounder by Covington. Not sure if they rule that an error or not. But your score's 10-3. Major Qualls, another RBI spot. First pitch, chopper in the hole. Fielded by Covington. Throw. Got him at first. And Major disagreed with the call. Bang, bang play. Got him by a step. And the inning's over. But not before Hickman County scores 8 runs. It's 10-3 Bulldogs as we go to the 5th. With how this game started, I never would have thought we would be in run rule territory. But if the Bulldogs hold East Hickman scoreless and put 3 on the board in the bottom of the 5th, this game's over. This was such a tightly contested ball game until that last half inning. And baseball is just such a momentum game. We see how quickly things can unravel after even just one mistake. Because one mistake leads to 2, 2 leads to 3. Your defense starts to slump their shoulders. The pitcher is throwing with less and less confidence. The hitters feel better about themselves at the plate. They're taking more disciplined at-bats. They're making better contact. But with their season on the line, you know East Hickman will not go quietly. It all starts with number 31, Dalton Blackburn. Blackburn's 0 for 1. He's worked a walk. Just trying to give his guys base runners. Lewis now getting to work with a little bit less pressure. He's back on the mound for his 5th inning of work. First pitch, fastball over, strike 1 at the lower part of the zone. Off speed, Blackburn sits back, line drive hard, but foul. So Lewis quickly ahead, no balls, 2 strikes on the East Hickman catcher. Lewis delivers, fastball high off the glove of McCaleb. Those high fastballs so difficult for a hitter to take. It looks so appetizing at the eyes. You think you can do something with it, but you never can. Unless you're in coach pitch, maybe. But when you got a 88+ mile an hour heater up there, no shot. So Blackburn 1 pitch at a time, trying to get back into the AB, down 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lewis winds, kicks, deals. Fastball just misses, ball 2. Even count. Lewis. Fastball, another fantastic take by Blackburn. And while this game isn't going the way East Hickman would want it to, that's one thing I got to give these Eagles credit for. They have got an eagle eye at the plate, no pun intended. And Lewis goes with the heater inside, ties up Blackburn, and it's strikeout number 10 for the Hickman County senior. Now, while John Michael does have the 4 walks, you'll never complain about a 10 strikeout day. First pitch fouled off by Jaden Malugin, the second baseman. Malugin, he's 1 for 2. He's also struck out. The 0-1 fastball right by the bat of Malugin, strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. But John Michael right back on the rubber, ready to roll. Goes again with the heater. Upstairs, ball 1. The 1-2 pitch, heater, called, strike 3 on the inside corner. And if we were at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio, John Michael would have just won the fans free pizza. It's 11 strikeouts for Lewis. We saw a game last night between the Reds and Rockies where, in the final inning of play, the hind catcher challenged with ABS, And it was the 11th strikeout, and the fans were loving that, because who doesn't like free pizza? It always tastes a little better when you don't have to pay for it. The first pitch misses downstairs to Redden, the first baseman. He's 0 for 1. He struck out and was also hit by a pitch. He wore that fastball in the shoulder blade. Takes a big cut. Comes up empty. Evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. And Lewis working expeditiously on the mound. Ball low. Took a bit off, and now Redden ahead in the count. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lewis delivers. Challenge fastball. Right down Main Street. Strike 2. The 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. A dominant fastball by John Michael Lewis. Make it 12 Ks on the day. And he meets his designated hitter, Ruger Toddy, with a warm embrace coming off the field. And now the Bulldogs are 3 runs away from a semifinal appearance in the district tournament. And I am feeling that cool breeze off the Tennessee River right about now. We see some folks in the crowd with their blankets, some jackets. Pretty similar to last night. The game started around 64. It's dropped down to 61. But it feels a bit chillier than that. And looking ahead to tomorrow's action, because regardless of who wins this game, Hickman or East, WNKX is going to be here covering a baseball game tomorrow, and the high is 69, low at 44. So it'll be slightly warmer, and I mean ever so slightly. And that will end the day for the senior Braden Presley. And Presley, who had been just awesome all season, not the ending he was hoping for. So you got a feel for that young man who comes in to play third base. Alex Martin in on the mound for the Eagles, who was previously at shortstop. Jaden Malugin goes from second over to short. And Joseph Covington goes from third over to second. So a few defensive changes for the Eagles. And Martin, he made a couple of defensive errors the last inning. But looking to pick himself up on the mound in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Andy Kraft starting things off for the Bulldogs. He's 1 for 3 on the day. First pitch skips up to the plate. Nice pick by Blackburn. So Kraft, as we've said, he's 1 for 3. He scored twice. Again, Martin missing low. Has some pretty good velocity, but perhaps just overthrowing slightly. He's missed back-to-back in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes on Kraft. Gets one over for a called strike 1 on the outer half. The 2-1 to Andy. He swings the other way. Charging. Nice running play by Covington. And he makes the play in the hole. We saw Covington at second base last night, and that just seems to be where he's most comfortable. He read that ball perfectly off the bat, moving to his left glove side. Had plenty of time to make the throw over to Redden. And it's 1 up and 1 down for Alex Martin on the mound. Spiegelmeyer first pitch swinging. Grounded to third, and it's through the legs of Presley. So it's the 8th error of the game for East Hickman. And now the Bulldogs have a one-out base runner.
Now batting in 5, Carter Bates.
So Carter Bates in the box now for the Dogs. He's 0 for 1. He's walked twice and he's scored once. He's had a very patient day at the plate. First pitch misses high, ball 1. Bates pops it up over our heads in the broadcast booth, and it's up on the hill behind the press box. Bates has had a habit of popping up pitches this season. Spiegelmeyer, pretty good lead off first. He goes, Bates swings. The hit and run is fouled back again, almost the exact same spot. So now Carter behind in the count, 1 and 2. So far we've seen Martin very fastball heavy. I wonder what his off speed looks like. Pick off to first, and Spiegelmeyer much closer to the bag than he was the last pitch, and he's back in standing up. And it gets away, the 1-2 curveball. Blackburn couldn't handle it. It goes to the backstop, and now the Bulldogs have a runner on second with 1 out. Bates evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Martin delivers, fastball chopped down the third base line, out of the reach of Coach Duchesne. He stays alive to see another. Bates proving to be a difficult out. The 2-2 again. Off speed, drops in, called strike 3. Just above the belt, and Bates goes down looking. So Martin picks up his first strikeout. And now Braden Chesser in the box. And it was with 2 outs in the 4th inning where Hickman County found their magic. First pitch misses, gets away again to the backstop, and Spiegelmeyer takes third. Easy take for Chesser at the plate. He's ahead in the count, 1-0. Chesser swings away at a 1-0 fastball, comes up empty for strike 1. And another reminder, we have got a barn burner between the Hickman County Middle School baseball Dogs and Stewart County. Hickman County is up 5-3 in the bottom of the 6th. Chesser swings, pops it up foul. Chesser still behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch, fastball, called, strike 3, froze him. So a pretty nice inning of work on the mound for Alex Martin. He picks up a couple of strikeouts and holds the Bulldogs scoreless. Here's score, Hickman County 10, East 3, and we're going to the 6th. the Bulldogs will be sticking with John Michael Lewis on the mound entering the 6th inning. Lewis has gone 5 innings with 3 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, and 12 strikeouts. The last time he pitched against East Hickman, he got up to 13, so a chance to break that record here tonight. And I want to give Braden Presley's final line, who exited after 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 10 runs. Only one of those was an earned run, 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. I'm not sure if I've ever seen anything quite like that. 10 runs given up, but only 1 earned. That's a pretty crazy statistic. And a first pitch by Lewis of the 6th to Dwayne Lampley misses downstairs for ball 1 and skips past McCaleb. Woodard playing the role of the good guy, going to fetch the passed ball. Lampley takes strike 1. Lewis has well eclipsed the century mark in pitches. He's thrown 108. So this will pretty much do him in for the district tournament. Lampley sharply fouls it off. Lewis. The 1-2 pitch. Lampley fights it off. And we're in need of a baseball. There have been a lot of foul balls these last couple innings. I guess all the others were turned in for a free piece of candy at the concession stand. The 1-2 once more, fastball just off the black, 2-2. Lewis looking for a lucky strikeout number 13 on the mound. Lampley looking to stay alive and give his guys a base runner. The 2-2 pitch, fastball chopper to first and foul. And Bates having to run that ball down the fence line. And again the 2-2. Fastball chopped to third. Kylan Seal charges. He makes the play. Off balance throw, gets under the glove of Carter Bates. And I don't think he would have had a play anyway. Kylan juggled the transition just a little bit. And that was plenty enough for the speedy Lampley to get the Eagles a leadoff base runner. And now Coach DeShane makes the walk to the mound. And I think we'll be seeing a pitching change. So Lewis hands the ball over to his skipper. And he goes to shake the hand of his catcher, Braden McCaleb, as is tradition. And the Bulldogs will be calling on the freshman number 26, Jackson Bates, more than likely to finish this one off. Bates has shown himself to be plenty capable out of the bullpen, even considering how young he is. He's good at filling up the strike zone, has some pretty good stuff on top of it. He inherits a runner on first with nobody out, and he'll face the left-handed bat of Gavin Woodard. And admittedly, John Michael Lewis started this outing a little bit shaky, but boy did he settle in. Lewis's final line, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all three of them were earned, 4 walks and 12 strikeouts. And if the Bulldogs win tonight, this might be the final time we see John Michael Lewis take the mound for the Hickman County Bulldogs. And it's a sobering thought, but it all depends on if the Dogs can make it to the regional tournament, in which case we would probably see John Michael once more. but especially as a high school athlete, you can never take any game for granted. Whether you win or lose, just the opportunity to be on the field is a privilege. And you never quite know when your last one might be. So Bates, he's finished his warm-ups. Slide step, misses outside for ball one, and Jackson Bates likes to incorporate that slide step to keep runners honest. Doesn't throw with just a ton of velocity, so the slide step is his best chance at not giving up stolen bases. The 1-0 pitch in there, strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Middle infield at double play depth. Bates bounces up a curveball. Nice block by Michaela. And Kylan Seal, who was at third base, is replaced by John Michael Lewis. And a swing and a miss by Woodard. And Kylan Seal was being DH'd for by Ruger Toddy, so I imagine Jackson Bates takes that position now. And he's got 2 strikes on Woodard. 2-2 count. Fastball just missing low and away. Woodard thought about swinging but holds back. Count goes full 3-2, and maybe some action over at first with the speedy Lampley. No runner. Woodard swings and misses. And it's the first strikeout of the district tournament for the freshman Jackson Bates. And that brings in the 9-hole hitter, Joseph Covington. That's the second time Woodard has struck out in this game, and Covington, he's 0 for 1. He's also struck out and was hit by a pitch. Bates delivers low and away. A sliding block by McCaleb and a pitch in the other batter's box. And Covington is a right-handed batter for context. Covington, who also runs pretty well, made that nice play at second base last inning. It's going to be pretty tough to double him up. Takes down and in. Another sliding block by McCaleb. Covington ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Bates misses away. So he's missed outside for ball 1, inside for ball 2, and outside again for ball 3. Just going back and forth. Expect to see him take a bit off just to get over with a strike here. 3-0, Covington. Taken all the way, and it's over for strike 1. Just one pitch at a time. Jackson Bates trying to work back into it. The 3-1 misses down and away, and it's a 1-out walk. Worked by Joseph Covington, and the lineup will turn over to the top. It's Alex Martin. He's 0 for 2. He scored once, he's walked, and he struck out a couple of times. Martin also came in to pitch that last inning, and he looked really, really good. Gave up no hits through 1 inning pitched. Racked up a couple of strikeouts on the mound. Bates' first pitch loops in for strike 1. The 0-1 from Bates. Hit sharply through the hole past the outstretched glove of Braden Chesser at second. And seeing as they're facing a 7-run deficit, Coach Hunt not wanting to force the envelope stopping Lampley at third. And now the Eagles have the bases loaded for Landon Erickson. Erickson's 1 for 3. He scored. He's also struck out. We saw him go the other way a couple of times against John Michael Lewis, and now with a bit less velocity coming his way from the mound, maybe he tries a new approach. Jackson Bates back in the windup. Well, not much approach needed. Erickson wears a hit by pitch right off the quad, and it's an RBI. Make it 10-4. Eagles trail by 6. And while it seems like a pretty big deficit, the tying run is just in the hole. So if Presley can reach here and Blackburn can reach on deck, we might have ourselves a game. Bates going right at Presley, strike 1. The infield playing back, content with giving up a run in the name of getting an out. Bates the delivery. Gets through the legs of McCaleb into the backstop. It kicked off with force, however, and that keeps the runners stationed. 1-1 count to Presley, who took over at third base after he left the mound. Bates throws the 1-1. And Presley way out in front, flails at it, fouls it off the end of the bat. Bates, the 1-2. Breaking ball chopped to third. Lewis touches third. And that's all they'll get, and Covington crosses the plate. So East Hickman has cut the lead in half. They trail by 5. And Presley reaches on the fielder's choice. I thought for a second Lewis would have been able to touch third, go to first. But that's a long throw to make across the diamond. Didn't want to force anything with a lead, give away any momentum on an errant throw. So with 2 outs, it's first and second for the Eagles for the cleanup hitter, Dalton Blackburn. Blackburn's 0 for 2. He's walked and struck out. Bates goes at him, and that ball is roped into left field. It drops in front of Qualls. Windmill on at third. And it's an RBI single for Dalton Blackburn. The Eagles now trail by a grand slam. And whenever you face a big deficit, that's where you can find hope, when you're in that grand slam territory where one swing with the bases juiced can tie it up. Now, is that super likely? No. But you never know. And with East Hickman, their season on the line, they will be going 110% until that third out of the 7th. And Bates steps off. Jaden Malugin at the plate. He's 1 for 3. He has struck out a pair of times. Malugin squares to bunt, pokes at it. And that's strike 1. That was a bit unorthodox. After the bunt, it kicked off McCaleb, I think, and rolled into fair territory, but not a fair ball. No balls, 1 strike to Malugin. Now Lewis cheating in on the grass at third. Carter Bates in the grass at first. Braden Chesser holding the runner on at second. Malugin not squaring around the second pitch, and it misses in the dirt for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bates a couple of checks back at second. Kicks and delivers. Chopper up the middle. Kraft can't field the short hop. It hits off his glove. but it stays in his vicinity, so no run will score, but the bases are loaded, and we are in grand slam range with the tying run at the plate in the form of Dylan Redden.
Dylan Redden.
And for East Hickman fans, they probably thought this game was a foregone conclusion, but now you look up and all of a sudden, you've got a little bit of life. And Redden takes the first pitch low and away for ball one. Bates tosses in a strike. Evens the count 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Bates. Line drive to left field. Quall's going back, and he makes the catch. Crashing into the wall. And Coach Hunt with an eye roll at third. His guys were just a hamburger and a hot dog away from making this thing interesting. But they do put up 3. They trail by 4 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And a pretty interesting stat from this game so far is that you see the score, 10-6. You must think, well, each team's got about 20 hits apiece, and we've seen a few home runs in there. Well, no, we've seen none of that, actually. Each team is even at 6 hits apiece, and that's so frustrating for an offense whenever you're not necessarily being out-hit by the other team, but you're still trailing by a pretty good margin. But the difference in this game has been East Hickman's 8 errors to Hickman County's 1. And if you take away that 8-run explosion Hickman County had in the 4th, East Hickman could very well be leading this game. But baseball is not played in what-ifs. It's not played on paper, it's played on a diamond. And almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So we've got a 10-6 ball game. The Bulldogs still up front by 4 runs. Alex Martin back on the mound for the Eagles, and John Michael Lewis leading off the inning for the Bulldogs. Lewis is 0 for 1. He scored twice. He also recorded an RBI with a hit by pitch. And he's been hit 2 times. And Hickman County probably thought they were about to coast to the finish line when they were up 10-3, but now you blink and all of a sudden some more insurance doesn't sound so bad. Lewis takes 2 consecutive pitches for balls, 2-0 the count. Martin, fastball right at Lewis. He pops it up off the handle and into the East Hickman dugout. We see the crowd start to arrive more and more as they prepare for the main event this evening. The 1 seed versus the 2 seed, Riverside versus Lewis County. The winner punches their ticket to the district championship game and to the region tournament. Lewis takes the ball in the dirt, 3-1 the count. The delivery from Martin, fastball. Lewis fouls this one straight back. Count goes full 3-2. The payoff pitch from Martin. Fastball, and Lewis pops it up over the press box and foul. So Lewis stays alive, and this is quite the battle brewing. Called strike 3, low and away, and Lewis goes down looking. AM sets down JM on strikes. So it's 1 up and 1 down for the Dogs, and I tell you what, Alex Martin has looked impressive since entering the ball game. First pitch to McCaleb. He takes a big swing and finds nothing but air. And a breeze is the last thing we need as the temperatures continue to fall. The 0-1. Martin goes right at him. McCaleb hooking foul down the left field line over the tarp. So Martin, through an inning and a third, already has 3 strikeouts. He struck out 3 of 4. 1 strike away from his 4th K. Fastball down the third baseline, foul. Close, but no cigar. So McCaleb looks to keep the battle going. He's behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Martin, off speed, drops in, called strike 3, back-to-back punch-outs. Martin up to 4 now. He matches the starter, Braden Presley's total. Martin has now struck out 4 of 5. Bates' first pitch swinging, sharply hit to Covington. Nice play. And he completes the throw to Redden, and the Dogs go down in order. East Hickman down to their final 3 outs, their season on the line. They got to push across at least 4. And Jackson Bates still on the mound for the Bulldogs. He had a pretty rocky inning the last time out. Through 1 inning, Bates gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. It also took him 25 pitches to get through the frame, so looking to shorten it down here and get his guys to the district tournament semifinals. And due up for East Hickman is the guy that started the rally last inning, Dwayne Lampley. He reached on an infield single. It was that chopper to the third baseman at the time, Kylan Seal. And he was the last batter Lewis would face. First pitch, over for a called strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch from Bates to Lampley, bounces to the plate. Maybe short-arming it just a little bit. Ground ball to short. Kraft fields it clean, toss on to first in plenty of time. It's 1 up and 1 down. to start the 7th. Now it's number 25, Gavin Woodard. Woodard's 0 for 2. He's walked and has struck out a pair of times. Bates winds and delivers, goes right at him with a first pitch fastball right down the chute. 0-1. Jackson delivers, misses down and in. Good take by Woodard. Count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch, Woodard popped in the shallow left center field. Andy Kraft on a straight back pedal makes the catch and somehow keeps his balance. It's 2 up and 2 down to start the 7th. And now East Hickman's season is down to its final out. And it's in the hands of the 9-hole hitter, Joseph Covington, number 14. He's 0 for 1. He's scored, he's walked, and he's struck out. First pitch, misses low, ball 1. The 1-0 from Jackson Bates. Missed it low and away, 2-0. Bates winds. This one's over for a called strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Bates quickly working to home. Ground ball is short. Fielded by Kraft. Throw to first. And the Bulldogs stay alive for the time being. And East Hickman's season has come to an end. Your final score from Riverside in the district quarterfinals: Hickman County 10, East Hickman 6. And now all eyes are on the game that's about to start between Lewis County and Riverside, because the winner of that game is on to the district championship and punches their ticket to the region tournament. Meanwhile, the loser will take on the Hickman County Bulldogs tomorrow at 4:30 in a win or go home with a trip to the region on the line. There's still a lot more excitement left for this baseball season. We are not done on WNKX. We thank you guys for hanging out with us for this audio-only broadcast. I want to go through briefly just a final line. Hickman County finished with 6 hits. East Hickman also with 6. But the big difference in this game, which led to the 8-run 4th inning that propelled the Bulldogs to victory, East Hickman committing 8 errors, Hickman County only committing the 1. The winning pitcher for tonight was John Michael Lewis. He went 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs. All of those were earned, 4 walks and 12 strikeouts, throwing 113 pitches. So make sure you got the icy hot tomorrow, John Michael. The losing pitcher for East Hickman was Braden Presley, throwing 4 innings, 6 hits, 10 runs, 1 earned run, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And Presley did that on 108 pitches. And we can talk about the Bulldogs celebration, that they stayed alive, but you got to feel for East Hickman, the fans, and especially the seniors who have played their final high school baseball game tonight. I know we here at WNKX haven't gotten the opportunity to cover them as regularly as we hoped we would, but it's been a privilege and an honor to watch those young guys play whenever we watched Hickman County and East play against one another in the crosstown showdown, getting to watch them last night against Riverside and today against the Dogs. I know the tournament didn't go the way they wanted, but now it's time to rebuild, look ahead to next year, put in the work for the offseason. I know these coaches are going to do just that. They're already thinking about how they can make next year even better. But as for Hickman County, there's no rest for the weary. In less than 24 hours, they'll be playing either Riverside or Lewis County. Only time will tell, but we'll be back with you guys tomorrow. I've been Josh Copley saying so long from WNKX.